Welcome, everyone, to Holistic Health Talk. I'm your host, James P. Madonna. And let's see. Oh, oh boy. Let me get him on. Hello. There he is. What? I see some. Yeah, don't worry. My hair's flipping and flopping and curling.
Hey, James.
Hey, how you doing? I see some clouds in the background there. You getting some rain today in Clearwater, Florida?
No, it looks like more on screen than what it is. It's pretty blue out. Not bad.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the sky is very clear here. There's no clouds up there, but being that I live near the water like you, it can quickly change in a snap.
Yep.
But anyway, welcome to Holistic Health Talk. I think this is your first time here.
I think it is.
Yeah,
So I
and
got the game on in the background. I'll be checking that out.
yeah, no, that's what I told Mick Von Raven. I says, you like to do the show in the man cave in the basement, and that's where he watches the game.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so you can still watch the game. It's just a question of turning your head like this.
Yeah. Well, I got it over there.
Or they can watch it. Some guys, I think a lot of guys, when it comes to American football, they have to be glued to the TV.
I don't have to be glued to it, but it's a pretty big game.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But you could walk and chew gum at the same time very easily. I mean, it's unless they have money riding on the game. If their favorite team wins, that's wonderful. But if their favorite team loses, I mean, whether it wins,
Even if you have money on the game, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you don't have money on the game, it's an American pastime, and but the quality of their life is not going to get any better if their favorite team loses.
No. I'm not one of those people. I mean, it's cool to root for them, but I'm not going to flip out if they lose.
Yeah. There he is, the one and only Commodore Jeff Zambello.
Hey, James, I'm going to have to sign off because I'm in a very angry mood right now. I had to walk the whole length of the quarry because some idiot. I live in Canada. Things freeze, so the lock to the gate froze. I had to walk over a half mile to here. So I'm gonna talk to you next week because otherwise I'll be full of swear words. But anyways, I'll talk to you next week.
No. Cursing is allowed on my show.
Oh man.
And he leaves in a nanosecond.
Maybe he'll cool off and join.
I don't. He knows I don't mind curse words.
Maybe he'll
You know.
cool off. I guess it's a good thing I joined. You would have been solo.
Yeah. Yeah. What the, I mean, so curse. Tell your story. Let it all hang out. So what? I mean, I don't. I mean, I realize it's winter and the temperatures in the north are really bad.
Yeah.
But he probably wasn't dressed appropriately.
Well,
No
the
cigar.
game they're playing today, it's in Detroit, right? Over the border. I think it's Windsor, Ontario.
Yeah, Hamilton. I think Hamilton, Windsor, Ontario. But let me ask you a question. Do they have a retractable dome in Detroit?
I think they're playing in a dome.
Good.
I don't think it's actually outside.
Yeah, and if Minnesota was smart, they would have a retractable dome also.
I'm not positive on that, but I think they're inside.
Hey, Tommy Carroll. Yeah, we have
Where's the Commodore located at? Is he by New York?
no. I forgot. I don't know where Tommy Carroll.
I thought he was around like just north of New York.
The comment that it should be on the right hand side. Isn't there a comment button?
No, the Commodore. I said.
Oh, the comment. He left. He has a tendency to leave at the speed of light without me finishing my statement. I was going to say I don't mind cursing.
Mm-hmm.
Let it all hang out. I didn't get a chance.
Where is he in Canada?
Well, he's from Boston, but he lives in New Brunswick, Maritime Province. Because his wife,
is that like just north of the New England area?
It's near like Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia. No, it's north of Maine.
Oh, it's north of Maine.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's his time zone is Atlantic. He's 1 hour ahead of us.
It's got to be
Like
in the negatives over there, right?
Like Puerto Rico is Atlantic time. Sometimes it's better for you if you just roll with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like a good juicy meaty panel. I like abbondanza, as we say in Italian, abundance. I like
Abundancia.
Yeah, I like a juicy, like I said, a meaty panel.
How do you say it in Italian?
Abbondanza just means abundance.
I think in Spanish it's abundancia.
Abundancia. Yeah, a lot of words are similar, like the word help. Ayuda is the same in Italian as it is in Spanish.
Ayuda.
It's help.
Yeah.
Like if you're invited for Thanksgiving, and the person who's hosting is a really good cook, and they put out a lot of great food, that would be an abundanza, a cornucopia.
Abundancia.
I mean, Tommy
An
Carroll.
abundance of food.
An abundance, yeah, which I like, as opposed to stingy, cheap, small portions, which I don't like.
You can't do that at Thanksgiving.
Oh God.
I mean, why would you invite people over if you're going to be cheap about it?
I was so pissed at that one episode of Everyone Loves Raymond where his wife Deborah, who's a royal nagging, controlling pain in the ass, she insisted on making
That's a good show.
She made a fish. Show. She wanted a fish for Thanksgiving, a sea bass or something. Who the fuck? And they're all like saying, "Are you kidding me? You're not serious. A fish for Thanksgiving?"
Yeah.
But her family is wacko. She came from a family where the mother they're high income. The mother doesn't do shit.
Raymond is supposed to be Italian, right?
He's Italian, but he's afraid of his mother, and he's
afraid
of his pussy.
What is his wife supposed to be? Do they say?
No, she's Protestant, white. She's not.
What is it, a wasp?
Like a wasp, and they're the ones that on Christmas time they don't use different color lights on their tree. Everything's white. Everything's got to be lily white.
That's a good show, though. It was supposed to be from Long Island, right?
Yeah, it's from Long Island, and you know who? Just two people that were the glue that held the show together to me is
The
Robert.
brother. The brother.
The brother Robert is funny as fucking hell.
Yeah, and the dad.
And the father, Peter, the late Peter Boyle, God rest his soul. He and the mother died too.
And the mother was good too, but I think the mother seemed more like a Jewish lady than an
No,
Italian lady.
she is Jewish. She's a Russian Jew from California, and
But in the show, I guess she's supposed to be Italian.
she's supposed to be Italian. She's like very intrusive and controlling.
Yeah, annoying. Yeah.
And she has to control. She can't, cut the apron strings with her son.
I've met Jewish ladies like that on Long Island.
It's
a pretty good depiction.
So they're pretty controlling of their sons, right?
But I guess Italian women are too.
Well, Italian women do the same thing. They all like to lay the guilt trip on their boyfriends and husbands, and they're good at that. But a guilt trip, we're getting a little red pill now. A guilt trip only works if you allow it to work.
Sure. But if you're a son and it's your mom, that's kind of hard.
Well,
if it's your wife, it's a different thing. But if you're going against your own mom, that's tough.
Well, you can say, I don't want to do that, Mom. I have my own life now. I'm an adult. I'm not a child anymore. You could say it diplomatically, and then of course the mother will pout and play a violin.
Now, was your mom like that? You're Italian.
To a certain extent, not. See, my mother used to go out to dance clubs, disco dancing and everything. And she was like a modern mother for her generation. I mean, she grew up in the 1950s.
She liked the disco dancing.
Yeah, she grew up in the 1950s. She went out a lot. She was a party lady, and she was very much involved in the mysticism. She had all psychic astrology friends, and
oh, really?
Yeah, she was an interesting lady.
So would she be like got into the hippie kind of stuff?
Yeah, and she sang opera. She took 9 years of opera lessons.
Wow. She took dance lessons, right?
She took dance lessons. Well, me too. From my late Uncle Frank was a ballroom dancing teacher for Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly.
Was that her brother?
Her uncle.
Her uncle. So it was your great uncle.
Her uncle. So it would be my great uncle.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Tommy Carroll says, JPM, watching some YouTube channels, young men, few women crossing the border at will.
Young men, few women. So he's saying it's more men than women.
Crossing the border at will. Well, first of all, it's a very dangerous trip to be on foot. You're talking about the south of the border?
I don't think he's talking about the north of the border.
No, Canadians don't want to come here and live. They got it fairly good, except
though from what I hear, the inflation is even worse in Canada than it is here.
Well, their taxation is
very high, but also the inflation of just everything is pretty bad there.
You know what the worst part is? The worst part of it all is the middle class get hammered and burdened with the taxation. I mean, but Canada does tax the rich. I mean, it's like Scandinavia. They do pay their fair share in taxes.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, like if there's a Jeff Bezos living in Scandinavia, you could bet he's going to be paying his fair share.
What is his fair share? Like 75%.
Well, look, the late great Dwight D. Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, a Republican, had the highest tax rate on the rich in the 1950s, which were the prosperity years.
But they say that nobody paid it. That's the thing with that, because they got all the loopholes and shit. So it was the highest rate, but nobody actually really paid it.
Did you know that speaking of accounting, because that's your trade, in California, the California comptroller is right now trying to close a tax loophole that the rich are using because uh, Shohei Otani,
Yeah.
under the tax loophole in California, he can, at the end of his career, when he collects his $700 million,
Yeah.
he can move back to Japan without paying a single penny in California state income tax after of the $700 million, which is funny that
Oh, one second, James.
Yeah.
Just a quick update.
Okay,
Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
good.
They tied it up 10-10 at the half um halftime mark.
So it's
It's a pretty good game, and Tampa Bay was, they're the underdog in this game.
so it's tied. Who are they?
Yeah, they're playing the Detroit Lions.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay, in Detroit.
I'm gonna go refill my glass, and then we can talk about the Otani thing. I want to hear that.
Yeah, I got my glass of filtered zero filtration water.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
Young man, he's saying, young man, don't feel so down. I said, young man, get yourself off the ground. I said, what's that? YMCA, right? Why? I'll do Donald Trump dance. YMCA. Oh boy. Well, Mr. Tommy Carroll, I hope you're having a pleasant Sunday. I don't understand why a close friend like the Commodore that I've known for a long time knows that I don't censor people on my show. That he could swear all he wants, he could scream all he wants. That's good for ratings. Controversy. So, Mr. Tommy Carroll, I forgot. Refresh my memory. Where are you from? Are you in Jersey? Hey, JPM, want to sing happy birthday to Booty Juice like Joey did? Oh, Booty Juice's birthday? I'll wait until. I hope I don't forget you gotta remind me what I was talking about when Ronnie S comes back. There he is. Tommy Carroll. Got it. So
this is a good game, James.
Shohei. Well, I hope you got it. I hope the TV is crystal clear for you.
Oh, it is. I got a 60-inch. Big screen. It's right there in the living room, right through the door.
So yeah, Shohei Otani can get away with paying California.
Yeah. So how does it go?
Well, it's a loophole that allows him to dodge the California state income tax.
What is it? What is the loophole?
I don't know. It was an article that I thought I saved it, but I lost.
I'll tell you what, James. He is in the, for him, his sake, he's in the worst state to try to do anything like that, because California is going to try to get you one way or the other. They might be worse than New York.
But it's funny how the owners of these baseball franchises, they use extortion tactics, and they threaten to leave the city if the city doesn't pay for their new stadium.
Oh yeah.
But they have $700 million to give Otani.
They do. Yeah.
That's how funny how that works, and they get away with it simply because they can.
Well, because it's a big business and it's a big entertainment business. I mean, every blue-blooded American male, for the most part, likes to watch professional sports.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hype connected.
There's a lot of hype. There's a lot.
Sports. That's why your announcers have to shout, or get all excited all the time and scream.
Nobody shouts more than the Spanish announcers, though, for the soccer games.
Oh, go!
Yeah.
Go!
They make the English guys, the English speakers.
Yeah, but football,
like
NFL announcers, they get very melodramatic and they're always screaming. But
not as much as the Spanish guys though.
He won't tell me. Tommy Carroll won't tell me where he's from. He says he's from
He's from
America.
America.
Weisenheimer. You're a wise guy, eh?
Or
All
maybe
right.
he means he puts country ahead of state or whatever.
Listen, I don't care. I tell everybody knows I'm from northeastern New Jersey, and everybody knows you're from Long Island. So what?
Oh yeah, I don't care.
So what? If you're look, he could be from a small rural town like
Like Woodstown.
Bart
Like Bart
Robinson,
Robinson.
Woody Woodpecker
Is
Town,
that what it's called? Woodstown?
Woodstown, where the founder was the Grand High Exalted Imperial Mystic Poobah of the Masonic Lodge,
Mm-hmm.
of the Masonic Order,
The Masonic watering hole
and
of,
he
of Woodstown, New Jersey.
Woodstown. He probably spent all his time at the watering hole, drunk out of his mind, like the booze hounds on those other shows, like Eric Fraunfelter. JPM, your buddy Zuckerberg is building an underground mansion in Hawaii where he can grow his own food. You know, he tried to kick off.
Found out about the story of the Jews in the city, right? With the underground tunnel.
Yeah, I played that video a couple weeks ago. They're like Hasidics. They were running, breaking the walls, getting sacks of money, and running off. Yeah, Zuckerberg. Beep 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 beep. You know, Zuckerberg tried to get Native Hawaiians off that island because he wanted the whole island to himself. Him and his wife. You believe that shit? You got Native Hawaiians that have probably been there for thousands, hundreds, or even thousands of years, and he wants to kick them off their homeland. That's like telling. That's like
I never heard that one.
Yeah, no, that's old hat. That's an old article. It's like Native Americans, like taking the Cherokee Indians out of the Carolinas and shipping them to a reservation in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
That's
the Trail of Tears, right?
Exactly, and they made them walk there on
Walk
foot.
all the way to Oklahoma.
You know, it's really
pretty terrible.
Pretty despicable. Really, it really is. I mean, the Aboriginal people in Australia went through the same thing. You know, it's like a British monarchy way of thinking. The royal family of England, all their colonies, you know, if the people weren't lily white, they were oppressed and abused.
South Africa.
There you go, apartheid. All right, I want to honor what Tommy Carroll said, even though he doesn't want to tell me where he's from. Booty Juice. Pete Booty Juice had a birthday recently.
Booty Boy?
Booty Boy. Booty Jig. So I'm going to play Happy Birthday. I heard Happy Birthday was copyrighted. You believe that shit?
No.
You believe how greedy people are with
I guess somebody made it, but I've never heard that either.
Yeah, but what's next? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is going to be copyrighted? Or maybe it is.
You know, Buttigieg, DeSantis dropped out.
Really?
Is that true? Nah, that isn't true. He's lying. Because he's going to wait at least until the New Hampshire.
Wow.
I don't think that's true.
Well, if he really did,
Chris Christie dropped out.
Yeah, Chris Christie. Well, you know, a Jersey boy going to the Midwest and all those.
Got the shiny shoes and all that.
Yeah, he's the city slicker, man. He's the city slicker to them dog people out yonder. All them dog people living out yonder. they're not going to take. They didn't take kindly to the Jersey boy.
He's too fat anyway.
And he's very
Even though he got the tummy tuck, but that's what you said. He got a tummy tuck.
No, he got the stomach staple.
Oh, because he has lost weight. When he ran in 2016, he was very fat.
Well, you said last night when you typed that he's a very
well-rounded candidate.
He's a very well-rounded candidate, and that was true.
It's for better or for worse. It's about looks a lot of the time. And when was the last time there was a fat president?
Never. Oh,
well, Herbert Hoover was pretty fat.
Teddy Roosevelt was fat.
Teddy Roosevelt wasn't fat, not really, but Hoover was probably a little round. He might have been the last one.
I don't think there was any truly fat.
No, you're not thinking of Roosevelt. You're thinking of Taft. He was.
Oh yeah, Taft.
After Roosevelt, he was the one that got stuck in his bathtub, and they had to get him out of the tub somehow.
Well,
that's a true story.
Yeah, but with all that soap and water, they couldn't slide him out.
No, he was really big guy.
You got to be really fucking fat to
William Howard Taft. He was a huge guy.
To not be able to get out of a bathtub with all that slippery soap. That's pretty bad. He's, jeez.
And then I think Hoover was a little rotund, but yes, since then, which is basically since FDR, which is like the modern era of the post World War II era. And then once they got on TV, then it was all about looks.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or if you don't have the look,
you got to be a certain height too. That's why DeSantis is he's too short.
Yeah, and remember H. Ross Perot? He was real short.
Mm-hmm.
He with a Napoleonic complex. You have to have the it factor. You have to have pizzazz, charisma, you say, the look.
You gotta have a look. There's a certain look. There's a certain age too. Like that's why they say Biden's very old, which he is. But you also can't be too young.
You can't be too young because then people think you don't have enough experience to do the job.
Yeah. So DeSantis, he's a pretty young guy. He's born in the 70s. He's too short. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the pictures that came out where he was wearing like stilts. He was wearing the cowboy boots one time? Oh. He went somewhere to go campaign out west or something.
Oh,
and he had cowboy boots on.
Elevated.
Yeah, and they got pictures of him with that's embarrassing.
He might have had lifts in his shoes or something.
That's embarrassing though. That wasn't a good look for him.
Yeah, they do that with actors too. Actors that are very short in real life, they prop them up, and you can't see that they're standing on a crate or something.
I don't think he's very short, but
right, and you can't be dumber.
Trump is very tall.
And yeah, that's true. Obama is tall.
Obama's a tall guy. I think Biden's pretty tall.
Trump is tall. Biden is tall. You can't be dumber than a bag of rocks either. You know what I mean? And you can't be. There's a law that says you can't be born in another country and run for president.
Yeah, that's the law.
That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger is annoyed because he wants to run.
And then that was the birther stuff with Obama, where Trump was saying that he wasn't born in the U.S. He was born in Hawaii, right?
Yeah,
he moved to Chicago.
His mother's Irish, she's a Caucasian Irish woman. Mm-hmm. Obama's mother's Irish, and his father's Kenyan, but he wasn't him. He wasn't born in Kenya.
He was born in Hawaii.
Yeah, I don't know how he got from such a lovely area like Hawaii to
Chicago,
Chicago to Illinois.
That's a good question there.
I mean, you look at the weather all year round in Hawaii. Then you look at Chicago's weather in the wintertime.
You got the crime.
And they have bad winters because they have the lake effect from Lake Michigan. But anyway, hold on, Tommy Carroll. Tommy Carroll, JPM, do you think it's easier to fool people or convince them that they have been fooled? It's easier. It's easier to
I think that's a trick question.
it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they have been fooled because their ego gets in the way and they won't admit it that they've been winky dinked, like Mr. Haney said on Green Acres, winky dinked.
Yeah, it's a good answer, I think.
Yeah, if I recall right, I think Taft was a 300-pounder.
Oh yeah, definitely. At least
Well,
he was huge.
those old fashioned bathtubs with the legs on it, they must have been smaller back then.
It
Maybe,
might have been,
but
but he was a very big man.
I mean, those bathtubs are actually roomier than the modern day bathtubs. So those retro bathtubs. I don't know why they got away from it.
And this was at the White House. He got stuck in it.
You
They had
got
to get
stuck in
the
White House.
secrets. No, I don't even. I'm not sure if there was even a Secret Service back then.
Was it in the paper?
Yeah, it was a big story.
Ah!
And it's why it lives on to this. I'm surprised you never heard of that.
No, it's quite funny. It's quite funny. Yeah, so like Nikki Haley, she don't stand a chance.
Nikki.
Yeah, remember when Pocahontas?
Is she still around?
Yeah,
Is she still a senator?
she's not in. She's not in the spotlight anymore.
No, I
Um,
haven't seen anything about her.
remember when she got upset with Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders says
Because
a
Bernie
woman,
Sanders,
a woman cannot be elected president of the United States.
she said that he said he said that, and he actually denied saying it. So he was calling her. He was saying that she was lying about him.
Well,
But at the same time, he kept saying that she was his friend.
well, right, exactly.
So
But
he was saying that you're my friend, but you are blatantly lying. What kind of friend is that?
no, you know what he should have said? Instead of having raisin balls at that Democratic debate,
He's Bernie Raisin Balls.
he should have said that in reality, I believe that Americans are not ready to elect a female president of the United States because it's too soon in history to do so.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully it never happens.
No, because it's a known fact.
I don't think we need that.
It's a known fact that women's brains are based on emotions, and men's thinking is based on logic
And besides that,
and common sense.
Nikki Haley is a warmonger. On top of it,
That's not good.
she's in the pocket of Northrop Grumman and all those guys.
And she really botched the whole thing about what started the Civil War. It wasn't about race. You think all those white people in the United States Army are going to put their lives on the line in the Civil War over slavery? No, it was by economics. The South, I think.
Well, a lot of them also, remember, were drafted. They had to go fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the South seceded. They attacked Fort Sumter in
the North attacked Fort Sumter first. So South Carolina.
Was it South Carolina?
Yeah, the North actually started the war.
Yeah,
they fired the first shot.
Oh yeah, because the South attacked Fort Sumter.
No, the North did. The North attacked Fort Sumter, which was in the South.
And was this in regards to the secession of the states?
I believe so.
Yeah. They probably treated it like they probably called it treason.
So what did Nikki Haley say about it?
Nikki Haley said it was about that government. The people didn't want government, as in the North, to control their lives. No, that wasn't the reason why the Civil War started. You know, she was blabbing uh, um, conservative propaganda because Republicans are always whining that the big government wants to control us, and meanwhile, the street cleaners that come by happen to be part of socialism. If it wasn't for big government, they wouldn't have all these services.
Now, James, if there was no taxpayer-funded street cleaners, do you think a private company would step in and fill those shoes?
You want to rely on privatization? They try to do Christine Todd Whitless try to do it with
Oh, Whitmer?
she tried to do it with the division of motor vehicles. She tried to
Was it, you're talking about Michigan, the governor of Michigan?
no, Whitman was New Jersey governor, Republican governor, and she tried
When?
to
A
she
while
tried
ago?
to privatize the DMV, and it was a
Oh,
fiasco.
was that the governor from the 90s?
Yeah.
That's the one that Vince McMahon liked. That lady. There was a one time she came on WWF in the 90s, and Vince McMahon presented her.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Vince McMahon liked her. Yeah, obviously because
And then
he was very happy that she
uh,
became the governor of.
there was Jim McGreevey who had a fake marriage because he was really gay and he could not run for governor as a gay candidate, and
Oh,
he became governor, and his marriage was like when what's it, Merv Griffin had the fake marriage to Zsa Zsa Gabor, and he was really dating Danny Terrio of Dance Fever. He was very
so this was in the 90s in New Jersey.
yeah, and he resigned, or they forced him to resign because he didn't tell the truth about him being a gay candidate. That
Wow,
was
I never heard that. I don't know as much about New Jersey politics as New York. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not, but
and then he became a pastor.
really
After he was removed, he became a pastor,
a gay pastor.
a gay pastor. Tommy Carroll is right, and it has to do with human nature, greed, corruption.
Well, they're not getting paid, that much. So the bribes speak a lot.
170,000 a
Well,
year
it sounds good to us, but
for for
you can't afford their lifestyle on a 200 grand
for a public
salary.
for a public servant. 170,000 is
Yeah,
not enough for them.
you can't afford their lifestyle on that.
Well,
So
they
when they eventually leave office, they get paid by defense contractors and people of that ilk to give speeches. And their speeches, they're paid like $500,000 per speech. So they're being paid for a speech, but the real reason they're getting the money isn't because of the speech.
listen. If you accept big campaign contributions from the fat cats, then you owe big favors in return.
The fat cats and the war cats.
And the war cats, you owe big favors when you get elected. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Now,
No, you do. They're beholden to the They're beholden to the
sorry,
warmongers.
Jim, I mixed up the dog with a Joe Biden. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden, even though he's kissing up to, well, not anymore. Even though he is kind of wrapped up with the military-industrial complex a bit, he has done more for the bottom 98% of the population than any of your Republicans have ever done. The Democrats are corporatists, just like the Republicans. Both parties are corporatists. And but my grandfather used to say, a Democrat will throw you a handful of crumbs, but the Republican will give you absolutely nothing unless you're rich. If you're 98 percenter, they won't do shit for you.
The problem is, James, that the money that they're gonna give you, by the time you get it, it's so diluted, it's not worth anything anymore. And that was the whole problem with the pandemic stuff. They started giving out all this money, mostly to businesses, but they also gave that stupid little stimulus to
Well,
individuals. And
that's
then by the time we get it, you know, it's worth 50% of what it used to be.
and it was spent as soon as people got it. It was like your uncle as a kid giving you $2, saying, "Here, kid, don't spend it all in one place."
So would you rather get these handouts that are not going to be worth that much, or just be
I rather get
left alone?
I rather get I rather that the rich pay most of the taxes like they do in Scandinavia, and I rather get a much bigger stimulus check.
the,
I'd rather get
the bigger the stimulus check is,
I
the
I
less it's
want
going
to
to be
get
worth.
I want to be tickled down here in the crotch. I want stimulus at the stimulus.
The bigger the stimulus, the less
Stimulus.
it's worth. So you can get $1,000 stimulus that means something, or you can get a $3,000 stimulus that means 1/3 of that
Yeah.
$1,000 one.
And another way to have plenty of money to eradicate poverty and to give stimulus to the mainstream population is to trim the waste off of military spending.
Oh, I mean that's an obvious, but
You
it's
know,
never
you
going to
got
happen, and it's not going to happen from a Democrat either.
got 800. You got over 800 American military bases worldwide. You think these countries want to be occupied by the United States military and have their bases?
Did you hear the latest out of Iraq?
Uh,
There's a couple of days ago.
King of Dots.
There was an attack on a base in Iraq. Who do you think? Whose base was it? Could you think of who? It wasn't an Iraqi base.
Well,
So think whose military base could it have been?
United States?
It wasn't the United States.
No.
Who
So
else?
the-
Who else could it be? Another country's base inside Iraq. Who could it be? Israel. Israel has a
Israel
military
has a
base
base in Iraq.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah, why? You're right. Talk about
And who's paying for that base? It's not Israel. It's the United States.
Oh my God. They've been kowtowing. I bet that's Netanyahu playing a big.
It is. It is.
He's a fascist. He's playing a violin, going oy vey, oy vey, oy vey, and nagging the United States for money. That's why Zelensky keeps on playing a big violin, because he's Jewish also. So Netanyahu keeps on bugging the United States to send money to Israel,
They're
because
not going to stop.
and they do it because maybe they don't want to lose the vote of the American Jews.
That's not. I don't think that's really why. It's
Why? Why
more to it than that.
Why do they count down to Israel so much?
They have fallen prey to the Israel lobby a long time ago.
Is it the Zion? The Zionists are part of the oligarch, the oligarchy.
Oh, most definitely.
The oligarch. I want to apologize to everybody at home. I know it's supposed to be sports talk and nutrition.
Oh, well, let's talk about sports.
But wait a minute. We're going to get to something. I just want to read what this King of Dots is saying.
LBJ's.
Sounds like LBJ's long dead arm is reaching out to the minorities to give them a hand down. Forget about self-determination. Live on the government dole. Yeah, oh yeah. There's so much.
LBJ, you could say
The job market is so wonderful in the United States. Oh yeah,
that's what Joe Biden says.
LBJ,
you could say, was the original neocon, because he supported welfare programs at home and war abroad, which is kind of what Bush #2 was doing, right? Would you say?
Well, the United States had no choice but to get involved in World War II. They
No, no,
really.
he's talking about LBJ though. That was Vietnam.
Oh, LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson. Well, that was big time military industrial complex war. Let me tell you something. You guys like King of Dots that live out yonder in the red states.
Where does he live?
He's in Cincinnati, Ohio. Ohio's a red state. All right.
Is it? I don't
They,
think it is.
do you honestly think that corporations have your best interest, being that you
King
want,
of Dots says it was a U.S. embassy base.
being that you want to privatize absolutely everything and kiss up to the man, to the corporations? You think they give a shit about you? You think a CEO gives a damn about the well-being of the bottom 98%? Give me a break.
But do you think anybody else gives a damn about you? Or you just give a damn about yourself?
You get he wants to eliminate all social programs, so including including Social Security, so people drop dead. Where's the money? Where's the
Social
money?
Security is not solvent though.
Well,
It's
that's
going
because,
insolvent in a few years.
the Republicans are trying to sabotage it.
That's because maybe what your
All right,
point was.
I gotta end all this because I'm really getting pissed off.
Don't get pissed off, James.
No, I'm getting pissed off because they know damn well that corporations.
Look at this one.
There was no fucking goddamn trickle down economics. It was nothing but a big lie.
Yeah.
Okay, Reagan was full of shit. Reagan tried to stop the unions, and there was no trickle down economics.
What do you think of this
It
comment?
was a lie. Nothing trickles down. Nothing trickles down. You know what? We had a word for people like this when I was in the Teamsters Union. Company men, brown nosers, apple polishers, sycophants. Sucking the dick of your boss, sucking the dick of your of the corporate CEOs. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, you right-wing cocksuckers.
Hey. Let's talk about the Yankees.
Fucking cocksuckers. Yeah. It's our Social Security. It's not politicians' property to take away our Social Security because Americans paid into it. Well, that I agree with. All right, change the subject. Totally politics. Totally
that water, James.
Health-oriented show. Now, getting back to sports talk, because
you wanted to talk about the Yankees, you said?
Yeah, it looks like Brian Cashman all of a sudden has seen the Holy Spirit, and he's like all of a sudden doing the right thing now. He's not signing people to long-term contracts. He's not signing old geezers that are in the twilight of their careers. He seems to be doing some good things, and I think he was forced to do it. But if you left it up to him, he would still do the same stupid shit before.
So he never got fired?
No, he's very lucky he didn't get fired, because for some reason Hal Steinbrenner treats him like he was family, even though he sucks. And he tried to put the blame on manager Aaron Boone. No, it's him.
Well, the manager always gets the blame.
Yeah, it's him. You don't.
Did Boone survive? Or no, he got fired, right? Boone?
No, Aaron Boone is. They're giving him one more year, one more chance.
Okay.
Well, then people are getting paid off in the Teamsters.
Jimmy Hart.
Corruption. It's corruption. You know what? You know what Republicans do more than anything else? They lie. They lie. They lie. Like Satan is the father of lies. Okay.
Satan, yeah.
In the end times, Satan will come as an angel of light to deceive the people. And they are coming as the right wing fascist movement and the evangelical cult. You hear what I said? Cult. That wouldn't know the God of the Bible if it bit them on the end of the nose. They'll fight like hell for you if you're in the womb. Oh yeah, but once you're born, you're a moocher. They can care less about you once you're born. Yeah, right to life, my ass. Bullshit. People are so full of shit. It isn't funny. Yeah, but you got suck the dick of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all of them and Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, suck the dick of the man, the fat cats. They don't give a shit about you guys, the lower 98%. But then again, there's a lot of people living in red states that might have a little inbreeding in their genetics. All right, getting back to Brian Cash.
What do you think of that, King of Docs?
Aaron Boone sucks. No. His boss sucks. Brian Cashman sucks. And Hal Steinbrenner is a pussy for putting up with Brian Cashman. Aaron Boone, his dad was the manager of the Reds. All Boones suck. Well, what's his name? Joe Torre was too passive and easygoing too. You know, he didn't have fire like Billy Martin had.
Joe Torre was there for the 90s dynasty, right?
Motherfuckers.
Right?
What was that? Yeah, he was. Yeah, yes, but then he's like, well, maybe his hands were tied too. Don't forget, Brian Cashman was the GM during Joe Torre. Thanks, JPM. Great conversation. Gotta go wait on the spaceship. You mean, are you
He's going to space.
Are you a follower of Marshall Applewhite? You know, of Heaven's Gate, where they were waiting. They all had to wear white sneakers, and they went up on a mountain to wait for the UFOs to pick.
Was it like a cult?
Yeah. They still exist.
I never heard of that. Kind of like a Jonestown thing.
Well, he had them commit suicide.
Really? It's just like the Jonestown Kool-Aid shit?
Yeah, same thing like Jonestown.
Was it in the 70s?
With the tainted Kool-Aid.
Was that in the 70s?
It's a long time ago. That was Jim Jones.
I think, all this crazy cult shit seems like it always was happening in the 70s.
Land of opportunity. Yeah, and if you didn't have any money, you starved. Yeah, okay, got you.
Arkansas, he said, was the land of opportunity?
So anyway, 1950s under Eisenhower and the early 60s was the land of opportunity.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened? So anyway, getting back to
what happened to the good old days?
Brian Cashman is like the owners of the Red Sox. They're well, no, actually, the owners of the Red Sox are just the cheapest motherfuckers who ever lived. Okay, they put all the blame on GM Chaim Bloom. No, it was them.
Hiram Bloom.
Chaim. That's the reason why they lost Mookie Betts.
Hiram is a Jewish name, right?
Yes, Chaim and Xavier Kugats. I mean,
Kugats.
What's his name? Bogarts. I'm sorry.
Oh, Bogart. Xander Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart. I mean, Xander Bogarts. Bogarts. So he. Bugats. So that's why, because they don't want to pay them what they wanted, and
I'm gonna take a piss.
Yeah, take a piss, and they still hold that thought, and they still don't want to pay them, and but the problem with Brian Cashman is that he has a thing for washed up veterans that had a great past but are not doing much lately, and he signed them to long-term contracts. If old man Steinbrenner was around, you know what he used to say? I don't care what you've done in the past. What have you done for me lately? That makes a lot of sense. He's paying people a ton of money. What have you done for me lately? Yeah, come on, why? No social service, no social programs. And you know what Republicans say? Go ask your relatives for money and go to your church. They don't have enough money to help the poor. Drink my own Kool-Aid. Yeah. Yeah, no, the evangelicals are cult because the only time the Bible mentions when life begins is in Genesis when it describes Adam taking the first breath. When the first breath is taken, that's when life begins. It's not a fertilized human egg. It's not sperm that dies in a tissue. It's not an embryo that breathes like a fish. You're all part of a cult. Yeah, you're putting all the responsibility on Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is one player. The Red Sox had a great team, but the cheap motherfuckers didn't want to pay them what they're worth. You see, you people that suck up to the fat cats, you you think by doing so it's going to work wonders in your life. Being a brown noser is not going to get you anywhere. Okay, you never want to blame the right wing. Never wants to blame the rich, the oligarchy, the top 2%, because you really are brainwashed to think that trickle down exists, never existed, and also you you believe in American nationalism or exceptionalism, like this is supposed to be God's country. You know what it is? It's Satan's headquarters. It's Washington D.C. It's not God's country. All right, you're living in a pipe dream. The United States does commits a lot of evil. I'm not saying it's the only evil, but it commits a lot. And putting the tax burden on the middle class by Ronald Reagan was a pretty bad thing, really. Oh, the poor wealthy may have to sell one of their private jets to pay a high tax rate. Oh, my heart bleeds for the rich. My heart bleeds for the rich. You people out in red state land that don't have a pot to piss in, you're not going to get any a damn thing by brown nosing the fat cats. You're not going to get a damn thing. I'm not sweating. I just took a shower before. No, I'm not perspiring.
You know what I was thinking when you said Bugats.
Kugats.
I was thinking
Bogats.
Stugats.
Kugats.
What is Stugats mean?
That has something to do with your cock, your crotch. So Xavier Bogats, Xavier, right?
Stugats is with your cock.
Or is it Humphrey Bogarts? No, Xavier Kugats is the Stugats.
Stugats.
Rule number 1: don't argue the Bible. It makes
The
people
Bible.
stupid.
The
Bible. Well, don't argue the Bible with right wingers that only cherry pick from the Old Testament, and they think the New Testament is socialism. Oh, Jesus was a social. He was. Jesus was a socialist. Are you kidding? Yeah, read the New Testament that you dimmed our people from dimmed our red states. Yeah, the New Testament is very socialist. Yeah, boneheads. Oh, poor, poor. Oh, you're insulted. Oh, hey, the proof is in the pudding. You ever hear that saying? You can't,
I heard that before.
you can't fight. You can't argue
James,
with proven facts. Proven facts.
an
Proven.
update on the game here.
All right, update.
We're on the third quarter, 4 minutes ago. It's still 10-10.
Oh, and
But
what quarter is it?
third quarter. It's a good game. It looks like Tampa's being a little too conservative with their plays there.
Yeah.
They got to go for the jugular.
Now what quarter is it again?
Third quarter.
Really?
And it looks like the Lions, they are about to score. They just missed a touchdown, but they're right there in the end zone. So this could change in a second.
Tampa better get their ass in gear here. I'm a minimalist. He was a minimalist. That's true. I'm a minimalist.
There was no labels like minimalist and socialist 2,000 years ago. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but if you look at what he preached and what he taught and the lifestyle that he led.
Well, let's say he was no Joseph Stalin.
Well, when he says the rich should sell their worldly possessions and give to the poor, and and that people who own farms should leave 10% of their.
What did he tell?
Let me finish.
Okay. Yeah.
They should leave 10% of their crops on the outskirts of the farm for the poor, to feed the poor for free, not to sell it. Okay.
Also, James, what did he tell the rich young man when he asked how he can make it to heaven? He told him to sell all of his possessions
and follow me.
Or actually, I think give up all. You do not need to sell them.
Yeah.
And the rich young man, he walked away disappointed because he
didn't want to do it, and that's why
they got a touchdown.
That's why it's easier to pass the camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get to heaven.
Fuck, James.
They scored?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I mean, they were on the verge of it. They were. So it's 16. They're probably going to get the kick. So it's 17-10.
I don't think that Detroit ever in franchise.
Detroit has never won a Super Bowl. No. So if they make it there, I'll root for them.
Because they're the underdog. Yeah.
They made it.
You said young man, but they thinking of the YMCA song. Young man, get yourself off the ground.
That's Trump's song. How does he do it? Like this?
Yeah, he goes like this. And the same thing to Macho Man. Good.
I wanted to ask you, do you think he uses the Macho Man song because he's an alpha male?
Well, he thinks he's an alpha male. I think he's an alpha. He's an alpha narcissistic, egomaniacal douchebag. Oh, guess what? Well, when Melania's mother's funeral,
I heard you say that last night.
She didn't want Trump to ride in the limo with her.
Has that been proven as a real story?
No, they showed it. They showed the video.
What's going on with that?
Yeah, she must be really pissed at him.
I always felt bad for her, honestly. You know why? She, married this rich guy from the United States. I'm sure she never thought that he had any thoughts of running for, to be president. She didn't want to be the first lady. She didn't want to do that.
But when Trump got nominated, he honestly felt that he was surprised himself that he won the nomination because I didn't think he really expected to go all the way.
No, that's what they say. Yeah. His whole team was astonished.
I mean, he's an entertainer. He had the Celebrity Apprentice.
Do you remember when he ran in 2000 on the Reform ticket?
No. I remember when
I don't remember either, but that did
Jesse
happen.
Ventura
He did
ran.
run on the reform ticket.
No, I don't remember. I know Jesse Ventura, when he won governor of Minnesota, was on the Reform Party.
Oh, okay, and that was Jesse won in the was it the 90s or like the early 2000s?
That's a good question. I know he won on a very low campaign budget, and
And
he
that was
spoke
what
for
state was that? Minnesota, right? And he was
Minnesota.
governor of Minnesota.
Well, yeah, originally he was mayor of his hometown, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, and that's how he started with the politics. But he spoke from the heart. He just got up there and spoke from the heart. He didn't read a pre-made, speech
Oh,
or anything.
now what about Kane?
It's like me. I don't plan anything out, huh?
What about Kane? Kane, the Undertaker's brother.
Oh, he's the mayor of Chattanooga, Tennessee, which I think is
No, it's called
on the
Knox.
east, huh?
Knox. I think it's called Knox, Tennessee.
Knoxville. I'm sorry.
Not Knoxville. It's Knox. It's actually a county. He's the mayor of a whole county, and it's
Yeah,
called
not
it's not called Knoxville. It's called Knox.
Knox is the whole county, right?
Knox is the county, and I'm not even sure if Knoxville is even in the county.
Oh, Knoxville is a city
Yeah, so he's actually the mayor of the county,
in
not the city.
eastern Tennessee. It's near.
So the county is so small, basically, that population-wise, that they can have a mayor of the whole county. It wouldn't just be like a town or a city.
He might be from that county because he's from Tennessee.
Maybe. Yeah.
And yeah.
Kane, he's been there for a few years now, right?
Well, he has to have. He
I
has
don't know what the term limits are.
um, he has to have the mental ability to govern because, compared to his gimmick on WWE, people.
I don't think he's doing that anymore. You remember towards the end, just a few years ago, when he would come out as corporate Kane, and he had the suit and a bald head. That sucked. Man.
I hated corporate Kane. Yeah,
but I think if he ever comes back, that's what he'll have to look like.
Because he was Vince created it. So
no, it was with Triple H actually.
Well, Vince created the Undertaker character.
Oh yeah. But the corporate Kane character.
Yeah, he created that too. Well, Mark Calloway was wrestling, on the territories, the NWA.
He was in the NWA, right? He was
part
what
of
was his name? Red something?
No, he was part of the. That was before he became tag team with Danny Spivey, the Twin Towers. Twin Towers, managed by Teddy Long.
Dan Spivey.
The Iron Sheik used to call him Danny Spicy. He didn't pronounce people's names properly. So Spicy, Danny Spicy.
And so Sid Vicious was in there.
Sid Vicious
also, right?
was one of the later Four Horsemen.
And also before that, I think he was a member of the Twin Towers at one point.
Yeah, no, I believe it because they're all about the same height. Give or take.
He's tall man, 7 foot plus.
Yeah. Now Blackjack Mulligan was the same. Was that height also? That's Barry Windham's father.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Barry Windham's father is Blackjack Mulligan.
Yeah, Barry and Kendall Windham. Their fathers was Blackjack Mulligan. And
I remember first seeing when I was a kid. I think Kendall Windham was still in WCW when I used to watch it.
Yeah. He was. His real name is Windham. He used his real name.
And then also Bray Wyatt, right? Was in the family.
Bray Wyatt. That was his grandfather. Mulligan was his grandfather. The late Bray Wyatt's father's Mike Rotundo.
Wow.
And
Quite a family.
remember Terry Runnels?
Yeah.
Yeah, she used her
She was in the family too?
yeah, she used her real married name. I think
Reynolds.
she was married to Dustin, the
Yeah. But
natural.
was she in the
natural
Mulligan family or no? That's separate.
she was in the Dusty Rhodes family.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gold Dust's wife.
yeah, the natural Dustin Rhodes was the husband, I think,
Hmm.
and he's still wrestling, believe it or not.
He was on the other night. I saw
AEW,
him on Wednesday night on
yeah,
AEW.
Goldust himself, AEW. He's still
I think
wrestling.
he calls himself the He went back to the natural name that
He
he had
went
in
back.
WCW.
He went back to the natural
Because I
Dust.
saw he had like a Gold Dust type bodysuit, and in the back of it it said the natural.
Yeah, he did have a similar Goldust bodysuit. You know, wrestlers that don't have a great.
He's pretty old. Fucking guy's been around for like
Oh yeah.
over 30 years.
Well, Sting's very last match is
Yeah, he's not gonna wrestle anymore.
no, he's retiring. His very last match is early this year, and
He hasn't been doing much though. Anyway,
Ric Flair's going to be by his side. He wants to, you know.
he's been in
No,
a tag team supposedly with that guy.
uh, uh, um,
What's his name? Cassidy?
yeah, Darby Allen.
Darby Allen. Yeah, but Sting doesn't really like do anything physically.
No, Darby Allen is like he's a more
He's got
uh,
the half face,
he's like
half
Jeff,
face paint, right?
he's like Jeff Hardy, but he's more of a daredevil than Jeff Hardy.
You think so? Yeah.
They had a match Friday on AEW Rampage. They had a very I was cringing because
Jeff Hardy had a match.
with Darby Allen, and
Really?
it was their second
Oh,
their
shit.
second hardcore match, and I was amazed at how
I didn't even know Jeff Hardy was in the company.
yeah Jeff and Matt Hardy, but they're jobbers. They don't win. You know
They're jobbers. What?
well they don't win any. They don't
The
win.
Hardys are jobbers?
They don't win any important matches.
I
Yeah,
mean, they're there for their name recognition. They're not jobbers.
the only the only the only old geezer who has an AEW belt is Christian Cage.
Yeah, Christian Cage, and he looks pretty good. He was wrestling when I watched it the other
Yeah,
night.
actually, he's still in good shape.
Yeah, he seems to be.
He looks like he's in better shape now than he was in the WWE.
But he's younger than Sting and
Oh, without a doubt. And Sting, yeah, he's younger than Sting.
who else were we talking about? That's been there for 30. Oh, Goldust. Yeah, and Christian's a good like 10 years younger than Goldust too.
Well, they always wear the jumpsuit when they don't have an ideal physique.
Do you know that's why Ric Flair, the night that Nitro or the night that WCW was broadcast as bought by the WWF, he had a match against Sting on the last Nitro, and he didn't want to go out without a shirt on, so he wore a t-shirt with the trunks, and that he wrestled like that. So that was his last match.
It wasn't that bad. He didn't look that bad. When
Yeah, I guess he
was
thought he was kind of getting out of shape and getting older, and he was gonna retire right after that. But he then when he came back in the WWE, he got a new deal from McMahon like 2 years later, and that's when he started wrestling again.
Yeah. Hey, Daryl Messias, thank you. Good afternoon
Touchdown
to you.
Tampa Bay. They're staying in this game, man. They are. They just got a touchdown.
Tampa Bay just had a touchdown?
Yeah, about to tie it up. See if they get the kick. They hopefully do.
The kick will only tie them?
17-17.
Oh, jeez. And are they in the fourth quarter yet?
About to be 10 seconds in the third. It's a good fucking game, man.
Now, they only allow themselves to get out of shape, and they blame age, and they blame gravity and everything. They allow it because there are bodybuilders that are their age, if not older, that still look like competitive bodybuilders.
Well, how old is Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger
He's
looks
up there.
horrible.
You think he looks horrible?
He's the mere shell of what he once was, and I think it had to do with
Yeah, the steroids maybe.
well, the steroids probably led to his heart
The
problem, his
stories you hear
heart surgery.
about wrestlers from the 80s, in the early 90s, and oh my god, the steroids are horrible. What they do.
All right, and what about addiction to painkillers?
Yeah, but that went further than that. But the steroids thing was really mostly in that time period.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
those guys, they just killed their heart because of the
An
steroids.
old,
Right?
an old friend of mine is hooked up to a cardiac electronic cardiac machine because of his steroid overuse over the years. He didn't cycle his steroids; he just continued.
Yeah.
When steroids are prescribed by a physician, like if somebody like is emaciated, and let's say and they prescribe steroids, you take a cycle, like 1 or 2 cycles a year, and that's it. You take it for so long, and then you
Well,
stop.
Hogan admitted to using them, but if you notice, he's one of the guys from the 80s who he doesn't look too bad, for his age.
Hogan actually, for his age,
And he's not dead like most of the people he knew back then.
a lot of them died. I mean, he looks good.
Yeah, I think
I
yeah,
got to
he
concur.
really does.
He looks good.
I think he still works out.
And yes, and he still resents the fact that he chose that leg drop as his finishing move. He says, "I should have never chose the leg drop." That's
Because
how.
of the back problems. Yeah, it makes
That's how
sense.
his vertebrae, his spine.
Sure. I mean, he's landing on his back right there every fucking time.
It's landing on the coccyx bone, the tailbone, and it compresses the vertebrae.
But as far as the steroid abuse, maybe he didn't really abuse it, and he used them, but
No,
didn't go too crazy.
he used them, but then eventually, as far as I know, he stopped and maybe that's why he was able to hang in there.
And I don't think Hogan really got too much into doing drugs, either like coke or anything. Maybe just here and there.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me, because I took a shower before I went on the show, and I have to.
Steroids is what killed Macho Man, right?
Most
He
likely.
died of a heart problem.
Remember how jacked up he was when he was in that spot?
When he was in WCW during the late 90s.
Remember the movie? What was it? It was a Batman movie or a Spider-Man movie or something. I forgot. He was in this movie where he was super jacked.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. That was in like 2005.
Yeah.
That was after he retired from wrestling. He was in that movie.
Right. Then he started getting parts.
I don't even think he really retired. He probably would have joined WWE if they gave him a chance. But they never reached out to him. Like, they reached out to everybody else from WCW.
There are people that haven't even been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
You know why they say that about Macho Man?
Personal reasons.
He's never been in the Hall of Fame. You know what the rumor is?
Randy Savage?
Yeah. He's
What?
not in the Hall of Fame. And he never was invited to come back to the WWE after they bought WCW. So the rumor is that he hooked up with Stephanie McMahon when she was only like 14
Oh,
years
yeah,
old.
yeah. I saw that article.
And then so Vince McMahon like holds a grudge for him, against him forever. But it's never come out like
Is this-
proof of that.
Is this before she married Triple H?
She was only 14.
Oh, really?
So it was in like the early 90s when Macho Man was there.
No, seriously. She was only 14?
That's what the rumor is, yeah.
So she got her cherry busted early,
In the locker room with all the guys, you know.
and who knows how many more workers she had.
Yeah, I don't think after she was with Triple H, he would have allowed anybody else. You know, and that was in like '99. They got together. That was a crazy storyline too because it was supposed to be in storyline that they were together, and Triple H was still with China in real life, and then he ended up falling for Stephanie, and then like broke it off with China. Did you know all that stuff?
Well, she stole, but
Mm-hmm.
then again, Triple H allowed it to happen. She stole China from Triple H. They were engaged, and they shared a house together in somewhere in New England, uh,
Mm-hmm.
northern New England. I don't know if it was New Hampshire, Vermont. I don't know where the hell it was,
Oh,
but
Connecticut. That's where Triple H is built from, right? He's built from Greenwich, Connecticut.
they they shared a house, and she dumped he dumped China
Mm-hmm.
for the boss's daughter.
A boss's daughter, and look at him now. I mean, he made out pretty good.
If it
If he's,
wasn't if it wasn't for hooking up with Stephanie, he would never be in the
he wouldn't have been the CFO and all that shit.
CFO.
What is he now under the new ownership?
He's head of you know all the talent that they're using in
Talent relations.
talent relations. Yeah, he's head of all that.
That's what JR used to do.
And his buddy, the whiner that always demanded special treatment in the locker room,
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels is running NXT.
Oh yeah. Oh man, another Detroit touchdown. It came right back.
Holy crap! Really? Oh, the Tampa's they're giving them a hard time.
Yeah, that was a
Jeez.
quick drive, man. They just ran right up there. Damn. Damn.
That's
I
not-
tell you what though, if Tampa loses this game, they really showed that they were a serious team. You know, because Tampa Bay wasn't expected to do anything this year without Brady. This is the first year without Brady. And they got this QB who's just been like a journeyman around different teams. Baker Mayfield. He wasn't really supposed to be that great of a QB. And he ended up, somehow they pulled this ragtag team together and they made it this far.
It's amazing.
The Lions have a cool story too, though. The Lions never won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Well, let me leave a voice message for Commodore Jeff Sambello. Hey Jeff, you left in a nanosecond before I could finish what I was telling you. What I was saying is I never censor anybody from swearing on my shows. There's no censorship. You could have told your story. You could have yelled. You could have, you know, you could have cursed away, for all I care, and stood on the show. But you left in a nanosecond. Okay, I just completed a voice message.
What did he say happened? That somebody was.
Somebody the gate to his company. The company he works for is a quarry, and the gate was locked. So that's why he couldn't pull his car into the driveway. So he had to park outside of company property and walk.
Oh, does he work on Sundays?
think he works like 7 days a week. I
So
don't know
he when he
why.
goes live with you, he's at work.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Usually, yeah. When he's not working, I I could tell immediately that he's home.
So he was
But when
trying
he's
to get
working,
into work today, and he couldn't.
yeah, and the lock was frozen to the gate.
Man, what do you expect? You live in Canada, man.
But he works for Quarry, like Fred Flintstone.
So the yeah,
Mr. Slate worked for
so he,
Mr. Slate.
the Fred Flintstone when he clocks out at 5 and jumps down the dinosaur.
What about the 5 o'clock whistle? You
Yeah, yeah,
heard?
yeah, yeah. That's like a iconic thing, right?
Yeah, that means
It's
you know
quitting time.
quitting time. I think the construction machine was like a brontosaurus.
Yeah, and he slid down, and then the
Yeah,
tail goes up, so he flies up, and then he
and he
lands in his car, right?
his car, and his car and the brakes are his
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
The brakes, he
Well, the
sticks his
tires,
feet
I mean,
down.
or the engine is his feet.
Stone, or maybe there's like an animal. I know the garbage disposal was like a prehistoric pig
The car,
under.
the car is the feet, because on the bottom it shows the feet going round and around in a circle.
That's how he propels
Yeah,
himself.
it was with the
Then
feet.
he might as well walk.
Let's just jog home.
Might as well
That's
jog
sad.
home.
That's funny.
Hold on. Good morning, Matsumi from southeastern Japan. Good morning to
Good
you.
morning.
Good morning. Thank you for stopping by. It is Monday now. They're 2 hours ahead of us. Yeah, normally they would be 1 hour ahead of us, but because of the stupid daylight savings time in the United States, they're
I
two
don't think
hours ahead of us.
anybody is a fan of that.
I think it's outdated
Yeah,
and
I think it's like a unanimous um, opinion that nobody likes it anymore.
no. Well, Arizona doesn't practice it
Arizona
from
and
what
there's another state. I think there's 2 states.
there's two states that refuse to practice
Yeah,
it, and I agree.
Florida's not one. And they should be.
Florida,
They should. They should. They're not one. I'm saying that they should elect to opt out of it, right? What do you think is
they
the
should.
procedure you got to do, like for the state to not follow it?
Oh man, I don't know, but I know it's a procedure that should happen in every state.
Yeah.
It really this fall back and spring ahead with the clocks. Screw
Was it
that.
designed for the farmers, or there was another reason?
I think it had to do with the damn kids going to school.
I told you that, but that's not why they made it.
You
So
know,
there's
Yeah.
people complaining or saying like they got the kids waiting for the bus, and it's dark out at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, so let the parent be out there with the kid until the bus comes.
You know, James,
That's not
James,
my problem.
I hear a lot of stories from around this area. Kids getting hit by cars in the morning because they don't have, in some areas, they don't have street lights.
No.
No, some areas don't. And so the kid's driving his bike. This is a 15-year-old kid not that long ago who got run over by, a car.
Jeez. Unbelievable.
Driving his
Well,
bike at 6:30 in the morning and down a road with no fucking street lights. What kind of shit is that?
They better not be riding their bike along the side of a freshwater lake because an alligator will come out and grab them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not like northern New Jersey. Not all the streets have streetlights.
I would say there's a lot of areas in the United States that don't have them.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about a heavily rural area or anything like that. So if you're out in the farmlands, middle America, I'm sure it's
I had
even worse.
one of my. Oh, I just want to say you're very welcome, Masumi. You're very welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I just want to say that one of my right wing uncles,
Hmm.
when he was alive, Uncle Ben, he has nothing to do with the rice. But Uncle Ben said, "Why should
Uncle Ben
why?"
was sorry. Just wanted to say, Uncle Ben. Remember from Spider Man? Was Spider Man's uncle?
No, Uncle Ben was the company that put out rice. It was the black guy smiling,
Uncle Ben was Aunt May's
Oh,
husband. Did you follow Spider Man at all? Spider Man
no.
story? No. Yes.
It was an Uncle Ben on there.
Yeah. Spider Man or Peter Parker. His aunt was Aunt May, and she was married to Uncle Ben. And Uncle Ben was killed by criminals one night, kind of like the Batman origin story when his parents were killed.
Oh, okay.
So Uncle Ben was killed, and
Well, Spider-Man is Peter Parker,
right,
right?
and Uncle Ben told Peter before he died, with great power comes great responsibility. So when Parker became Spider-Man, he got the bite and the power. He always remembered that with his great power, he had to be responsible, and that's why he became Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, he got bitten by the spider, or it
Yeah,
was
a
radiation.
radiation spider.
Radiation was always involved in superheroes. I
Yeah,
noticed.
it makes sense,
Like Iron Man had an atomic heart, right?
Iron
Put
Man
in.
was like fully made out of iron, right?
Well, it started where he something happened, and he was supposed to die, and the scientists put like this atomic heart in him, this artificial atomic powered heart or
Anyway,
something. I
how
don't
did we
know.
get onto the Spider-Man talk?
Yeah, I know. Well,
What,
Spider-Man.
what, what were you
Now
saying before that?
we're talking about Stugatz.
No, 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 no. You were talking. You were saying something,
We're talking about a subject.
and then um, I said that.
Oh, before the update on the football score, we were talking about something. Uh, it was
Uncle Ben. You were talking about your Uncle
Uncle
Ben.
Ben. Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Uncle Ben, my former late uncle.
Is that the one
I
that
had a,
taught the dance lessons?
I had a whole no, that was Uncle Frank. I had a whole bunch of uncles, monkeys uncles. Yeah, monkey's uncle. So anyway, Uncle Ben said, "Why should the taxpayers pay for street lamps? The hell with it. Take them off and have reflectors. Put reflectors on people and bicycles, and just put your high beams on
Mm-hmm.
your car. Put your high beams on. There again is people. You know, instead of blaming the what they should do is blame the government for putting the tax burden on Uncle Ben, who was middle class, and instead of putting the tax burden on the
What did
rich.
Uncle
All
Ben
right.
do? If I may.
Uncle Ben, he
Was he
had
in the
no
union too?
he had no justifiable reason to kiss up to the fat cats because Uncle Ben was a custodian in the school system.
Oh, was it a union
They
job?
used
Probably,
to call
probably
them
right in the school.
yeah, they used to call them janitors in the old days. Then they called them
That's
custodian.
it's a
Yeah,
weird one too. Custodian, janitor. I think you're right. Like it's two totally
I
different words that mean the same exact thing.
yeah. They're synonyms,
So what it
synonymous.
used to be janitor and then it changed to custodian.
Like an antonym is the opposite meaning.
Yeah, yeah. Detroit is looking strong in the beginning of the fourth quarter.
They should have added more detail to their line that's on the side of the helmet. It's like very plain.
Very boring. Detroit's one of the oldest teams, though. You gotta remember that.
Detroit Lions.
Going,
Now,
going back to the 50s, this would look like a cool.
I should look up the Detroit Red Wings hockey team. What is a Red Wing? Why is there one wing on a tire? I mean,
Yeah.
I
I don't
know that
know. I don't
I know
know.
Detroit is the Motor City.
I don't really follow the hockey
I
teams
don't
that much.
know what a Red Wing is. They only have one wing, and the dumbest reason for the Pittsburgh Steelers having their logo only on one side of the helmet, they
And
just
what is a Steeler?
it was
What does that mean?
well because the
Oh, the steel mills. The
United
steel,
States steel industry was
as
in
in Pittsburgh. Okay.
that was the logo, the Steelers logo on the helmet. That's the United States steel industry. You know,
Oh, okay.
those different color
There's like the
stars.
four different things there. I never really
Yeah,
even really looked at it.
yeah, they're like different color stars.
The steel
And
mines.
I think
The
Carnegie started.
Carnegie.
He
Yeah,
was
Rockefeller Steel. That was his company, right? Oh
uh,
no, that was Rockefeller. Yeah, you're thinking of Rockefeller, not Carnegie.
Carnegie was this very rich Scottish guy.
Carnegie was a different industry, I think.
He started the steel industry,
Did he? Oh,
which was
Was Rockefeller with oil. That
I
was
think so, yeah.
right.
And
Yeah, I'm getting.
JP Morgan screwed them all, and
J.P. Morgan was the banking guy.
yeah, he ended up owning everything lock, stock, and barrel.
I'm not exactly
And
sure.
then there was Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt is a, I that's like a Long Island story too. The Vanderbilts are from Long Island.
You know, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, came from a wealthy family in New York State,
Yes.
and I think
So did his distant cousin,
yeah,
Theodore.
Theodore. I think the only reason why he turned out to be very progressive is because he had post polio syndrome. He was in a wheelchair.
Did you know his wife also was a distant cousin of his, Eleanor Roosevelt?
Yeah, she wasn't very good looking, that's for sure.
So you talk about inbreeding. Those New Yorkers were doing pretty good back then, man.
She
'Cause they wanted to keep the money. They had all the money in the family. It's like that's how the royals were in Europe. That's
so
why they inbred.
the Rockefeller family is like probably like the big tycoon rich family of New York State.
They're one of them. Do you remember Nelson Rockefeller was governor of New York?
Yes, I do. When I was a kid.
Yeah. What was that, like mid 70s?
Yeah, he was Republican, Nelson Rockefeller.
And then after him, they coined the phrase Rockefeller Republican.
Yeah, yeah.
It was supposed to mean a Republican that was a little liberal leaning.
I believe that New York big cities, New York City, Chicago.
Well, that he was a governor though of the state.
Yeah.
He wasn't the mayor.
Yeah, but I believe that Republicans, a Republican should be the mayor of New York City, not Democrats. Because look at the crime.
Yeah. I definitely agree. What about the governor though? You think
Nah.
Democrats okay for the governor?
Yeah, nah, because otherwise there won't be no programs for the poor and low income.
What about this lady Hochul? Is she like a Rockefeller Republican in spirit?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what she's doing for New York State. I'm clueless.
She's a woman. She likes to say she's a woman.
She's from Buffalo originally.
So she got Buffalo Bills their new stadium. It looks like that's it for Tampa. Touchdown for Detroit. They're up by 2 touchdowns now.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game, though.
Oh, Jesus.
They hung around.
Yeah. See, Mick Von Raven could have done the same thing.
Yeah, just give an update here and there. Right?
Yeah, just like turn your head like an inch. Look at the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Give an update every now and then. Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe he just didn't want to join. He's using it as an excuse. Because he has his phone too, and his phone is always fucking up.
Yeah, I don't know what's with his Wi-Fi connection. It's
the iPhone I thought was a problem.
I think it could be that his iPhone is too old.
That's what happened with mine. It was too old. and I got a new one, and I joined a couple of times with it, and it seemed to be okay.
Well, since you got the new one, the quality of your video.
Well, this is not a phone. I'm using a laptop here,
Oh,
but um,
so the laptop has the built-in
well,
webcam,
I
just like.
have used the built-in webcam. It looks pretty good. I like laptops because you can move them around. You
Yeah,
want to go outside, you want to go down by the pool or something.
right. And you
Walk around with it, and
just
it
tilt the monitor.
yeah, and then um, you have to charge it. That could be a problem. You just got to make sure there's an outlet somewhere around.
Well, if there's no outlet, they do have batteries.
But the phone is like the same thing. You can walk around with it, but it's just not as good quality of you're gonna get with the video. And then
Well,
the app that you're using, like the Restream app, it's all looks all different, obviously, when you have it on the phone.
oh yeah. Well, even the StreamYard was different on the phone.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to
The interface was different. Yeah.
because you're taking a whole screen and you're just putting it into a little
Yeah.
tiny screen.
I sent Jordy. Hope it helps him. I sent him some screenshots of where to find the drop down for to take a look at your video and your microphone,
Oh,
making
the
sure.
three dots.
Yeah, like I don't know if you see it, but below the video on the right hand side, there's a little asterisk, like a rotor
Yeah,
uh, um, icon, and that's a drop down or
they're,
whatever you want to go.
they're done. They're done, James.
So Tampa goes home.
No more Buccaneers after today.
The Buccaneers got fucking ears.
This glass, forget it
Goes back in the cabinet.
until next year. I'm gonna go take a piss.
Actually, they're lucky. They won. Oh, that's his home team. Oh, look, he's got a fountain. There's a fountain in some kind of a. I didn't know he had that. Looks like a little man-made lake or some kind. That's nice. I gotta talk to him about that. You see in the background, viewers, he's in Clearwater, Florida, and there's like a lake with a fountain in the middle. All right, let me see. Let me see what the James. I was so pissed off at the dummies of my company who were instructed to not lock the padlock to the gate. I'm so sorry, Commodore, that this happened to you. These people are dumber than a bag of rocks. Incredible. Maybe people like this are the reason why the economy of the maritime provinces is so poor. The proof is always in the pudding. It's a shame. Oh well. Ronnie's here. We're we're having a pretty good show. Um, you're probably at the gym now or on your way to the gym. Maybe I'll send my sister. Oh, maybe I'll send her a link. Cancel out link. Um, you know, um, Ronnie, I just noticed you have some kind of a freshwater lake or pond by you with a fountain shooting up in the air.
It's not fresh water. It's most likely man-made.
What is it?
Most likely it's man-made. They just made it when they put the complex in.
So it's a saltwater pond.
Yeah, I guess.
Is
Or
it?
no, it's probably freshwater. It's probably freshwater.
Oh, there's no alligators in there.
No,
Well, you live in a gated,
it's all surround. Yeah, it's all surrounded by buildings. So,
so that means so that no gators can get in
but
there.
there are gators very very close to here. A lake, right, like 5 minutes away. This past summer, I think it was a lady like jogging, and she got attacked by a gator. She lost a leg. The police had to come like rescue her out of the lake. Crazy story.
Yeah, well, once the bad thing is, see, the alligator first has a very powerful bite, and then they do a death roll, and that's probably how I think that's how they tear off pieces of meat. So that's probably, unfortunately, how she lost her leg. It's
Yeah,
horrible.
pretty horrible story. And that was 5 minutes from here. So there's lots of lakes around here actually.
Yeah. Well, like you told me last time, they've been here for millions of years. The alligator's been in Florida for
I, t-
millions of
I
years,
told you that, right? Yeah.
maybe hundreds of millions of years.
This
And
is a swamp. This is supposed to be a swamp. Not supposed to be people even living here. If you think about it.
when the Spaniards, conquistadors, when they tried to settle Florida, when they settled Florida,
Hmm.
I think the only land they could settle was like near the coast, because St. Augustine is supposed to be the oldest city
The
in the
oldest
United States,
continuously lived in city in North America.
in North America, in North America, which well, no, I gotta
Yeah,
be I gotta
it
be
is.
fair. Mexico had,
Mexico and Canada.
yeah, Mexico City
But
is,
no, but that wasn't continuously lived in.
no, 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 no. That was the first. And then you had St. Augustine, but St. Augustine was the
St. Augustine is older than
is
Mexico
the
City.
oldest continuous
Continuously lived in city.
lived city in North America,
That's his claim to fame.
and there's a Spanish fortress there,
Hmm.
and you can see. But the Spaniards, they had a hard time with a tribe of Indians near the Florida Keys. Um, uh, there was a certain tribe. They weren't Seminoles, but they used the warriors. I mean,
Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
they used to kick their ass. Tampa
Touchdown.
Bay just scored a touchdown.
Yeah, touchdown. It's still 31-23. But
I think they called them Calusa.
Calusa, yeah.
Calusa.
I think they were around here too, all the way up to Tampa Bay.
Oh, so there was the Seminoles and the Calusa.
The Seminoles actually came later. So it's an interesting story what happened with that. So the Calusa and all like other original Indian tribes were all wiped out from disease or just
Oh, the smallpox.
yeah, or just being killed by the early like 1700s. The whole land it was just no more Indians left, and there wasn't that many settlements of the conquistadors either. So, like Tampa Bay itself, this area was uninhabited for like over 100 years. Believe it or not, there was no humans here because the Spanish didn't really stick around, and all the Indians died. And then up in the Georgia, Carolinas area, there was remnants of the Cherokee. They were still up there, and they were getting pushed out because the British kept moving in further into their lands, and then the Americans were doing the same thing. But they eventually moved into the Florida area, which was controlled by the Spanish Empire at the time. And then it was the Cherokee, and then I think the Creeks and another Indian tribe. They kind of moved south and formed together, and they created the Seminole Indian tribe.
Oh, okay.
And then they moved down, into Florida. And then
Yeah,
they got into wars with the Americans. The Seminoles did that. But the Seminoles were actually like descendants of Creeks and Cherokee from further north.
the Cree and the Cherokee.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, like you said, Florida it's probably the world's largest flat swamp. The state is basically a swamp, a big
Yeah.
swamp.
The Florida Gators football team, they call their stadium the Swamp. It's like
Why was it filled in? Was the
no, I
swamp?
think they just call it that because because of the area. It's like it's one of the oldest colleges too. It's from the team is from like 1901 it started.
I heard
And
the
it's just the area all around it is known as being a swampland
I,
originally.
I heard the Burmese python are slowly trying to work their way north in
I don't
Florida
know. I don't know
because
about all those snake stories and stuff.
because of global warming. Oh, you know what they found? They found a green anaconda in the Everglades.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with people dumping their pets because you know I'm really shocked at the kind of exotic pets are available online.
Yeah.
Poisonous snakes and
Hmm.
there's crazy lunatics keeping king cobras as a pet.
Yeah. And then what happens is they let them out into the environment and they become an invasive species. So
Yeah,
it's very very common in Florida
and,
for that to happen.
or they try to bond with their dangerous animal and they end up getting killed. You know, they're doing the same thing with rattlesnakes. I mean, you don't mess around with these black mambas. You don't mess around with these reptiles.
Yeah.
You're talking about a venom that'll kill you before you can get to the emergency room, and you don't even know if they have an anti venom. And they are at least in Australia. There's like a lot of dangerous venomous creatures, but they have anti venoms.
Okay.
Unless you get bit in the middle of the outback. But anyway, yeah, invasive creatures. Um, where Ron is the southern Louisiana, the apple snail is an invasive creature. Um, it's it it eats. It's an eating machine.
You see how it's all cloudy?
Yeah, it's white.
It's not. It's actually very nice. It's like a
So
nice blue, and then you can kind of see the sunset coming
so
in.
so
But this camera, I
yeah,
guess, is not very good.
optically, yeah, because it looks like it's ready.
Yeah, I see. It looks like it's totally white.
It's white.
It's not.
You know what else they have in South Florida that's invasive? The African giant land snail, which which get pretty big, and unfortunately they carry a parasite that has a meningitis. I think it was called a rat lungworm. Carries meningitis that can be passed on to humans.
Yeah.
And that's why they used to have these African giant land snails available for as pets, but you can't get them online anymore because of this parasite. So what I'm saying is, why is the government allowing them to be available online? There are people in Washington that obviously are not doing their jobs. You know,
I don't know, James.
Hookups. I don't know what
Where's
kind of.
Jordy at today? Oh, Jordy.
I don't know. Jordy had a problem with he couldn't hear us and we couldn't hear him.
Hmm.
So he says maybe it's restream. Well, if it was restream, how come everyone else can come on?
I've had problems with that too, though. Remember?
You know,
A couple of times.
yeah,
Not
like
that often.
you gotta
Restream is a different kind of setup.
well, you
a little
gotta hit
bit.
the asterisk, and what comes up is settings, and there's general, there's video, audio, okay, and you can test your audio, you can test your video. I got high definition, uh, and for me, I have to go to general because certain features can be allowed. Now they want full super duper high definition, but they want you to pay a membership for that. And like, in the words of Ronald Theriot, I ain't paying nothing.
That's what he says.
Yeah. Well, he still uses StreamYard, but I told him, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I was able to talk Michael Hilton into try and restream, and now he loves it. I told Ronald Theriot, I says, Ronald, with the free version of Restream, you get unlimited hours. With StreamYard, you only get 20 free hours, 20 per month.
You get unlimited.
I get unlimited. And I can stream to 2 social media platforms. With StreamYard, I can only stream to 1.
Wow.
So I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitter.
That's a big difference.
Unlimited for free is a big difference.
Yeah, and not that many people use it that I see. They're still sticking with the StreamYard.
Yeah, they stick with StreamYard, and then they're paying for.
Some people pay for the. You can have 10 panelists.
Yeah, but that'll drive me nuts. Could you imagine if you had like 10 people on your panel, and
they're all like shouting.
They're all shouting at the same time. Everybody's talking over everyone else, and like Ronald says, you're like a switchboard operator.
Yeah.
The communication won't be like this, like having you and the Commodore, or you. The communication is.
I think up to four, maybe 5 people. But once you go over that, it just gets too convoluted.
Well, I'm allowed 6 people, just like with StreamYard. The free version will allow 6 people, which to me is enough.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, 6 people is enough for me. I don't need to have 10 people.
I don't know what they charge for you to get the additional 4 people. But like
20,
Alex the Beer Master, I think Eric Fraunfelter, they have that edition.
$20 or $25 per month.
Yeah.
Is the professional.
I wouldn't want to pay that.
But don't forget, Eric likes to do all those special effects, and with the professional version, you can do all kinds of special effects. And,
okay, that's how he does that. I mean, he's not really doing anything too impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just care about content.
And there's no duck thing up in the corner. And on this one on StreamYard, if you don't pay, they have that duck. Remember?
Yeah, the with the jade green head. Yeah. Well, here it
takes up a lot of space.
Well, it does. It actually covers.
It covers people's faces sometimes.
People's faces, like here, I can see the word restream, but it's very translucent. It's very.
Well, especially with this white sky.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It's not. It doesn't cover anybody's face. I'm happy with it. I forgot how I accidentally stumbled upon it, to be honest with you.
What's the weather up there in New Jersey?
Oh, I'll tell you exactly what it is.
It's getting chilly over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call it quits. And in a couple of minutes, and I'm gonna probably order some Chinese food
Nice.
uh, because I'm not in the mood to cook anything from scratch now.
57 here right now.
Yeah, I'll show you, tell you what we got going. Right now it is 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, it is going.
That's not nice.
It should start being at um, starting at 8 p.m. It's supposed to go to 25, and then
You're giving me the whole rundown.
yeah, 10 p.m. 23 degrees.
All right.
It's anyway low of 19.
Yeah, and it feels colder than that though, right?
Well, because there's a wind. Yeah. Then
Right.
there's so 19 tomorrow.
19.
37 high up to low high of 37 low of 30. So that's it.
It's supposed to warm up tomorrow though. I think nationwide. Definitely here, but I think it's actually all over. It's gonna warm up a bit. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, they're saying we're gonna be approaching 80 over here.
Really?
I woke up today, early morning, and it was in the 30s. Believe it or not, that's a rarity.
Now
In the 30s this morning.
for Tampa, that's chilly.
That's cold. Yeah, it's
Pretty.
pretty rare that happens.
Well, you considering the freezing point is 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see what happened earlier on the show. I don't politicize anything. These guys, they start politicizing everything. Everything has to revert to
Yeah, well, that's a lot of people do that.
their
A lot
politics.
of people do it.
The show's really not supposed to be about that
You shouldn't get upset about it.
because he kept on
Don't let them. Don't let
kept
them
on like
bother
trying
you.
to push buttons. Not Tommy Carroll, King of Dots.
Yeah, don't let them bother you, man.
You know. Now before I say I close the show, normally like what'll happen is when Commodore comes on, he leaves in an hour because he has to leave the office. He goes to the gym. So I play some videos like I have videos about the health benefits of garlic. I was going to play those, but no big deal. I can always play them next week.
Okay.
And then
I like garlic.
yeah, garlic is actually a superfood. It's very good for you. I take the aged odor-free standardized extract tablets. So I get like heavy duty.
Why don't you just eat the actual garlic?
Now this is actually more potent.
Oh,
This is standardized. The active ingredient in garlic is allicin, and it's you get like a high amount. I do put garlic in my food. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong.
I like putting garlic in.
Yeah, actually, I buy a big container of dehydrated chopped garlic and onions because I hate chopping.
Mm-hmm.
Then you gotta use the onions.
Yeah, you do.
You gotta use them up, otherwise they start sprouting. They go bad on you.
And it doesn't take long.
And it doesn't take long. Like potatoes and onions, you're supposed to leave. They say you're supposed to leave that and some fruit room temperature. You're not supposed to refrigerate them because they start sprouting immediately. And with the dehydrated one, I get the big bottles. Some Spanish company puts them out, and one is Badia, the other one is Mimi. And if I want onions, I put it, in the water. I let the onions and garlic rehydrate, and I use it that way instead of me worrying about, oh, I got to chop these onions up.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think we win the Royal Rumble next week?
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. He's in it?
I gotta say, I haven't been interested in the WWE.
I don't know.
Every now and again, I try to watch SmackDown, and then I get bored and just turn it off.
You know what? I would say it's either going to be based on who they're pushing, who's in the spotlight. I'd say it's either going to be Cody Rhodes or CM Punk, based on who they're pushing.
Yeah. Roman Reigns, you think is going to lose the title at Mania?
Um, Roman Reigns.
They say The Rock might come back. They say that
Oh,
every year, though,
yeah,
right?
Roman Reigns wants to do movies like his cousin, The Rock.
Oh, okay.
He wants to go to Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, so he might have agreed or have suggested to drop the title so he can
Tribal King.
yeah, so he can pursue movies because he wants to follow in Dwayne Johnson's footsteps. Um, he's got a good look. I think he.
Would he drop the title to The Rock, though?
Well, The Rock is probably on hiatus, from doing any movies. He's
So
probably
who would he lose to? The winner of the Rumble? And who you think that might be Cody Rhodes?
well
Yeah, I guess that's what they're going for too, right?
loses. Uh, um, um, Roman Reigns could have very well lost many title matches if the bloodline did not interfere. He kept the belt because of outside interference by his bloodline, where the opponent came. You could see that he was going to get pinned. Not every time, but like for instance, L.A. Knight put the finishing move on. Not CM Punk. I'm sorry, Cody Rhodes had him beat, and then it was outside interference by the bloodline. Um, um, Incidentally, that's how Ric Flair won many of his title matches because the Four Horsemen would do a run in and interfere.
Yeah.
So the whole concept of having a faction, having a heel bad guy faction and outside interference, that goes way back.
So who started by the Horsemen or before that?
The Horsemen were the very first faction.
They were the first faction?
Heel faction. Well, there is no there's never a baby face. If there is, it's
Rarely.
It's very short lived.
Yeah. Generation X was a face faction.
Yes. That was the first longest face faction, baby face faction. But then you had in the old WWF Vince Senior, you had the managers that used to interfere. Captain Lou Albano, Freddie Blassie had his cane. Like Grand Wizard didn't take bumps. Grand Wizard never got involved because he was a little guy. But
Bobby Heenan took bumps.
Yeah, Bobby Heenan took bumps because Bobby Heenan was a trained wrestler.
Yeah, he was a wrestler for a little bit, right?
In the AWA under Vern Gagne, yeah. Then you had Grand Wizard, I think started in Detroit with a similar gimmick, but he was great with the mouth, like antagonizing and pushing buttons, like
a Jimmy Hart type.
Like Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart, skinny guy, no bumps.
Jimmy Hart, I think, took bumps here and there too, though.
Then there was Slick, but he wasn't that great on the mic. He was kind of boring. There was Slick.
Teddy Long.
Harvey Whippleman.
Teddy Long did it too.
Teddy Long
was a referee.
He's referee, but first he was a manager in the territory days.
Yeah, and then he was a referee, and then he became the general manager of SmackDown for a while.
But Teddy Long was good on the microphone. Harvey Whippleman was boring. he didn't.
He was also a wrestler, right?
Nah, he's a scrawny little guy.
He was in matches though.
You know who got involved with matches?
I think Harvey Whippleman won the women's championship.
Sir Oliver Humperdinck.
Yeah,
He had a beard and long red. He was a redhead.
he was a wrestler.
Yeah, he got involved with matches. He was a heel manager out in the Western Territories, like I think
Oh.
uh, uh,
What was
like Fritz von Erich, you know,
Oh, that was Texas, right?
world class wrestling.
Von Erich was Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's Cowboy Bill Watts in Houston. Then
Mhm.
there was Jerry Lawler in Memphis, Tennessee.
Mhm.
There was that, there were all these territories, and I think uh, Humperdinck, and he also went to Los Angeles to the Olympic Auditorium. That was Jean LaBelle's mother. Uh, Jean LaBelle's mother ran that. That was in NWA Los Angeles territory. And
Titus won that NWA title there, and they're the NWA Hollywood, they call it.
Titus?
Yeah,
O'Neil?
Titus. No, not Ty, not
Oh, you're talking.
Tyrus. Tyrus. The big fat white guy. He used to be in WWE. Tyrus.
Doesn't ring a
Tyrus.
bell. You know who was a pretty good wrestler, and he was the TNA World Champion. Is the English guy who's
Oh yeah,
running.
yeah.
He
He
was
was.
called-
I watched the NWA.
he was
When
a very successful
they
wrestler.
were bringing back the old show format.
Yeah. No,
This was back in like 2019.
he was in TNA. He was in TNA.
But he was in the NWA too, though. He was
Nick
in the
Aldis.
NWA.
Nick Aldis
Nick
was.
Aldis. He was the NWA champion.
Yeah.
The big
No,
gold belt.
He's a
And
big.
before he was in the NWA, he was actually in TNA. I think it was when they called it Impact Wrestling. In that time period, he was the main
Impact
guy.
Wrestling. And Jeff Jarrett was
Yeah,
involved.
Yep. But
Um,
he looked better in NWA. He looked stronger. In TNA, he was a heel, and they made him look like a paper champion. He never really showed any strength. He was always like getting run-ins by his faction, and he never looked good in TNA. They made him look like a chump.
he's a big guy. I mean,
He's big, yeah.
yeah. He looked pretty good when he was active.
Hmm.
I'm sure he could. He looks like he can still do some damage.
I mean, I think he'll probably get back into it. Maybe this general manager role is just like a introductory thing in WWE with him.
I'm so glad that Randy Orton won that match against Solo Sikoa.
I didn't even see that.
Solo Sikoa is like a real bully. He thinks he can run roughshod over everybody.
Well, that's his character.
Yeah, his. If it wasn't for his spike, his only power is his taped up thumb.
Hmm.
Asiatic spike. I know he does what he's told.
Well, I'm gonna get going, James. It's getting
Yeah,
cold out.
Me too. I'm getting.
It was a
cold
good
by-
show.
I'm getting hungry.
Yep.
It was good. What I have to do is learn to ignore the political arguments.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Don't let it get to you.
If it's not a political show, even if it was last night, I shouldn't allow myself to get involved in disputes.
They try to egg at you. You're an easy target because you get amped up easily, and
I get disgustipated, and
so people, especially in the comments, you can make these little comments and
commentary.
kind of make it seem like it's a jab to get you excited, but it's really just in jest.
Well,
That's how you have to see it.
he admitted that he pushes Ronald Terrio's buttons.
Yeah,
Also.
but you don't see Ron getting excited. He's pretty well maintained.
Ron,
His,
no,
his, his,
Ron,
his commentary.
Ronnie gets mad, but he gets mad in a very calm way.
I don't even think he gets mad. I don't think he does.
He
His
well,
friend gets mad. His friend gets mad.
oh,
David.
Dave Garlapede.
Yeah, he gets mad at Ron if you watch the videos. He's like,
Yeah, I know. They have a good thing. They have good camaraderie, the two of them, chemistry.
but if you would like if you'd see Ron like kind of, I think he stops himself. If he would continue into what David's trying to lure him into, in a way, I think David would get pissed off, and I think Ron knows that, so that's why he doesn't do it.
Yeah, he tries to. He lets it go. He tries to.
Right.
He tolerates it. He
Yeah. Yeah.
tolerates it. Daryl Messiah someday he's going to come on and
He's
join
gonna
us.
talk about Sting and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he likes pro wrestling talk. Excuse me. He
Yeah.
likes pro wrestling talk. So he's more than welcome. However he wants to, he wants to do audio with a avatar, or if he wants to come on with webcam, whatever he wants. So, I try to get Bart Robinson, but he's
No,
very shy. Uh, you know,
Bart's not into that.
he's you know, I mean, I just don't understand how people can really be not into coming on with their webcam. Like take the bull by the horns, man, in life. Uh, um,
Yeah.
I know people that just comment on Facebook on
A lot
somebody.
of it's a safety thing, I guess.
Yeah, they just want low profile. They want to keep low profile.
Hmm.
They don't want to view their opinions to the world. Me, I grab the bull by the balls. Maybe next week after the Rumble.
Well, we gotta do a Rumble review, but you don't watch it live, right? I don't watch it live.
I,
I don't. I sometimes think of buying the. It's on Peacock now, right?
well, no,
Because I always used to like the Royal Rumble. It's the most exciting pay per
yeah,
view.
but
The show of the year.
I watch the pay-per-views when they're
You
over.
watch it the next day, yeah.
I
I
watch
mean, it's cool to watch it live though. It's
what is
cool.
that? DailyMotion.com. Daily
I think
Motion.
you want, yeah, yeah.
Daily Motion plays all the pay-per-views after the fact. After.
It's cool to watch it live, but like I was saying before, I'm just not interested. I'm not caught into the, wanting to even purchase Peacock for a month.
I'm not really.
I get annoyed when I watch it,
I'm not
especially
a
with.
big fan. I'm not a big fan of the modern day WWE.
It's not good.
I
It's not
I
that good.
don't. It's a joke. It's like the storylines are not always that good.
They're pretty lame.
I don't know why. I don't know why what the company sees in Seth Rollins. I
And
mean,
then
got him beaten
the
over.
women's stuff.
Guys.
I don't like the women's revolution, and
Yeah.
you watch these women that look like men fighting. I don't want to watch that.
The Drew McIntyre, you can tell, is in a lot better shape than Seth Rollins. But then he's always losing to Seth Rollins.
I heard Seth Rollins got injured. Actually, I saw an article about that.
His back is fucked up. His lower back.
So is he out for the Rumble or something now?
No. But the company is obsessed with keeping the belt on him. Like even like I really thought Drew McIntyre was gonna beat him, but for some reason they don't want Drew McIntyre to have another world title. You know,
He doesn't draw.
he has the title. Well,
He doesn't draw.
it wasn't his fault because it was the pandemic. He had the title. He had the title during the pandemic, and there was nobody in the seats. But you can't blame him.
They had the computers in the seats. Remember? That's fucking
Oh yeah, then
bullshit.
they put the monitors. They had all
Yeah,
these.
yeah.
Every seat had a monitor.
And there was like a face in each one.
That was funny.
That was too much. You had some people like you see their fucking noses up their nose and shit.
That was fucking funny. Yeah, was Vince still in charge at that
Yeah,
time?
that was his idea.
He's a funny guy, Vince.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be. You know, if they don't bring him back,
He
he's gonna be missed.
he is a funny guy. I mean, he's a
I don't know
tyrant.
what's up with the mustache.
He's a tyrant to work for, but he's a yeah. He had like
He
he
still
had
has that mustache.
he had black like looked like shoe polish. He had black slick back hair,
Yeah.
a skinny mustache, black.
He still has it.
He looked like the cartoon. The guy
I
used
know,
to
right?
tie the girl to the railroad
Yeah.
tracks. You know, so Snidely Whiplash. You know, like,
I don't know if that's what he was going for, like evil look.
yeah, because he always enjoyed being a heel, a heel owner. He was a heel owner. And then there was a time when Stephanie and Triple H were heels.
The McMahon Helmsley faction. All right, James. I'm gonna.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna close. All right, thank you for coming.
Good talk, though, man. Good talk.
Yeah, and then hopefully he'll be okay. Jeff will be okay next time.
Yeah, no issues next week.
Yeah, I spoke to him. He really was upset. He told me. All right.
All right, James.
I'll see you in cyberspace.
Take care, man.
All right. Anyway, folks, thank you for coming. For holistic health talk, even though I mean there was no holistic health being talked about, it was mostly sports talk and pro wrestling talk, which is fine. I really didn't want politics to get involved in the show, but that's my fault for being suckered in by Connect the Dots, King of Dots. I'm sorry. You know, I have to learn to not even acknowledge right-wing political commentary, unless maybe some of it on the Saturday show, some of it, you know. But the Today show is not supposed to be about politics. But I do apologize for acknowledging crazy, obnoxious, overbearing right-wing comments. Yeah, I see you on Messenger a lot, Daryl. Yeah, you have a great week too. I know we have a new week coming up, and have a good one. I guess your team is continuing to the next playoff, right? You don't live too far from San Francisco, or at least that might be the closest major city to where you are, since you're in the north. So anyway, I'm gonna go and get some Chinese food delivered. So take care, everybody.